All right, continuing into Act 3, moving right along. Okay, this is back on Prospero's side of the island, in front of his cell, which I imagine to be some sort of maybe earth and stone type of dwelling that he probably made Caliban build for him. But Caliban's no longer the main slave. Now we've got Ferdinand entering, bearing a log. All right. Maybe possibly some sort of innuendo with this log thing, but I don't want to go too far into that. So use your imagination. So here he is talking to himself about how he's just delighted to be a worker slave because it gives him this chance to be around Miranda, whom he is by now hopelessly in love with. He says some things about how if he had wanted to, he could, you know, well, this is later, but he doesn't necessarily have to do this kind of work. He could refuse it, but he likes this, suffering in love for Miranda's sake. It's a little bit romantic. So Miranda shows up, and Prospero is at a distance, unseen. So it's important to note that Miranda is going to go talk with Ferdinand, even though she's been told not to. But she doesn't know that Prospero is spying on them at a distance, unseen. So again, Prospero, sort of like a puppet master, who knows how much he might be influencing this interaction. At the very least, though, he's gathering information to help him further his plot. And so Miranda comes up and she says, I feel sorry that you're having to work so hard. My father is hard at study. Pray now, rest yourself. He's safe for these 3 hours. As in, we've got 3 hours to ourselves. And Ferdinand says, O most dear mistress, the sun will set before I shall discharge what I must strive to do. Here he is referring to the work that he has got to do, but there could be some innuendo there as well. Pretty comical scene. Depending on how it's played, you could bring out certain details about the tension between Miranda and Ferdinand. She breaks the one of the rules her father set for her by saying what her name is. Oh, my father, I have broke your hest to say so. And then Ferdinand seizes on, the etymology of the name admired Miranda. Indeed, the top of admiration, remembering that Miranda means in Latin ought to be admired. Miranda does talk about how she has never seen anyone's face except her father's, her own. And Ferdinand says, I am in my condition a prince, Miranda. I do think a king. As in, he suspects that his father is dead. I would not so, and would no more endure this wooden slavery than to suffer the flesh fly blow by my mouth. Hear my soul speak. The very instant that I saw you, did my heart fly to your service. There resides to make me slave to it, and for your sake am I this patient log man. So he's saying, under normal circumstances, I wouldn't put up with this kind of thing, but I will become a humble what he says, log man. And Miranda cuts to the chase. Do you love me? Oh, heaven, O earth, bear witness to this sound, and crown what I profess with kind event. If I speak true, if hollowly invert what best is boded me to mischief, I beyond all limit of what else in the world do love, prize, honor you. And I guess this is touching because Miranda admits that she's weeping. And in an interesting sort of twist of convention, Miranda, let's see, let me pause for 1 sec. Yeah, it is in this passage where Miranda proposes. I am your wife if you will I think it's supposed to be if you will marry me. And if not, I'll die your maid. So Miranda's, they're moving pretty quickly here. Miranda says, well, I'll marry you for sure. And, there's an agreement, and they leave the scene here, and Prospero speaks then alone, so glad of this as I cannot be, who are surprised withal, but my rejoicing at nothing can be more. I'll to my book, for yet ere supper time must I perform much business appertaining. So he's saying, okay, things are working out well. Looks like the match is made between Miranda and Ferdinand. Now, this is advantageous to Prospero because he knows Alonso's still alive. So by Miranda and Ferdinand getting married means that Alonso is indebted to Prospero. So that's a political advantage that Prospero is sorted out. So that's one move on the chessboard in which he has gained an advantage and a stronghold. He doesn't want to get too excited, though. He says, so glad of this as I cannot be. So I cannot be as happy as they are right now. But, it's a good thing. But I've got a lot left to sort out, especially before supper time. So he goes off, and he mentions his book. Again, this is his magic book. And he's consulting this, using this as a way to conduct his magical manipulations on the island. And that ends the scene. And then we're going to jump over back, I believe, to Caliban and Trinculo and Stefano next.